SK Vibemaker.
When you made Booo, do you remember writing the lyrics? Do you remember the inception of the track, where you was when you wrote the track and how it was going to impact? Take us back to that time.
I remember I wrote Booo on my own, I think in my bedroom. I've got a feeling it was in my bedroom, or I wrote most of it in my bedroom. And I remember at the time, Sticky had a studio with Jason K at Jason K's house. And I wrote Booo to a totally different track that was more, it had a piano in it. I remember it was like much more melodic. And I went and I laid the lyrics, and I remember Jason K and Sticky kind of looking at me like excited, but I didn't, like, I was very self-conscious. I was good at kind of acting like, yeah, I'm cool. But inside I was really just like, oh my gosh, I hope they like it. Do they like it? I don't know what their faces mean right now, you know, like really. And I left, and then when I came back, he had made the new rhythm track for Booo. That wasn't how it started. And so, for instance, when you hear it like, feel a bad girl bass and the dung 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 dung, and he does that with it didn't start out like that. Like, he had the genius and the ears to go and make the beat follow the lyrics. And in terms of how I laid the lyrics, this is another thing, is that Sticky, where his roots, you know, as a DJ, and he was going out with ill kids and playing a lot of bashment and whatnot, with the melody, like, I really wanted to change up the melody in certain places. And there'll be times when I was like, I don't know where to take this bit, but I want to take it somewhere. He's like, try right it dun 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 dun. You know, like, he would help give me, you know, the little kind of hooky parts to it. So yeah, that was really how that one went down. And then they kind of they put it on test press first. I remember being in, oh my gosh, honestly. And then it just went somewhere else. I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
And now we're 10 years later, and you know what I mean? And a lot of people, I'm sure, you know, people call you a veteran, a legend. When you step into a building nowadays, do you still feel like you have to introduce yourself, or do you feel like they should just know I'm Ms Dynamite?
Do you know what? I've never been, you know, that kind of, like, I would never, ever, ever, ever assume that someone knows, you know, like, of Ms Dynamite. I would just never assume that. And if I'm honest, there's so many times when I might be speaking to someone, and because they're not coming at me like that, and I'm just me, you know, I don't presume. And it's only then when they say something like, we might not be having a conversation about music, and then they bring in the music, like, and I think, oh, shame, they actually know that. And I wasn't expecting them to know, and I didn't think we were like talking on that level, if you get what I mean. But yeah, I'm just like, I walk in and I'm just me, like, I kind of
Male or female artists out of the UK at the moment, they always cite you as an influence, as a legend, and the female scene at the moment in the UK is in probably the greatest state it's ever been, with a lot of MCs that are definitely doing some significant stuff. What's Ms Dynamite's take on it?
Definitely, I love it. I love to see so many UK female MCs just doing their thing, standing their ground. Very, very talented. You got Miss Brat doing her thing, Nole. I had the pleasure of working with 367, which is Amplified Dot, Lioness, and Lady Leisha, for those who don't know. They're sick. Honestly, I just feel like,
who's the one that frightens you the most, that you really got to put your neck out here and say, like, who's the one that frightens, like, oh,
do you know
she's
what?
going in with the bars, or she can really take it to that next level?
I don't want to sound like, I don't mean it in no cocky way, but no one has ever frightened me in any way.
Females have ever frightened Ms Dynamite.
Because, you know, like, I don't know, I've always been of this kind of, I've never compared myself to anyone else, and I've never felt like I'm in competition with anyone else, just because, I don't know, maybe I wasn't raised like that. You know, I remember my mum and my dad always saying to me, no one on earth can be better at being you than you can be better, you know, than being you. So that's it, you know, I'm just trying to do me. I'm not trying to look in left and trying to be better than my girl over here. But
who excites you?
In saying that, now listen, I think Lioness, for me, just like, I don't know, there's something about her style and her confidence and her charisma that she kind of reminds me a little bit of Biggie, like the way she flows, and obviously she hasn't got the same flow as Biggie, yeah. it's just so effortless. It's just like she eats it, yeah, and she rides on it in such a way that, I don't know, I just want to like, you know, but then in saying that, you got Lady Leisha, the way when she just said, I'm just like, what? This little, she's so small and she's so cute and she's so sweet. And I mean that in the most, you know, nice way. But when she kind of goes in, you know, and then, then Amplified Dot, you got Nole, you got Baby Blue. They've all got something very special, you know, about them. And I think another thing that I feel very inspired by, I would say, is that they're all doing what they're doing and making their mark and getting where they're getting, you know, totally based on their talent. I think that for a lot of female MCs in terms of like history, and just female artists, musicians in general, you know, sometimes we can rely on the feminine side and rely on, you know, not on our talent, you know, or we try to push other things, you know, to help us get forward. And I just feel like they're all just like, listen, this is me, bam, like there's no playing. And I like that. I love it.
A lot of people said, why is she taking so much time out? I know like you've had your, you know, your children. Was it just one?
Just
two?
one, yeah. Feels like 10, but yeah.
How is it with juggling music and motherhood?
I would be lying if I said that it hasn't been challenging. You know, at times it's, because I like to give 100%, you know, to everything I do. And sometimes, you know, something's got to give. And I'm like, obviously, you know, my son comes first without a doubt. But there's times when that means that something's got to give, you know, with music. And I'm like, but I really want to, you know, like I might want to be there, or I might want to, and I've got all the will in the world. But listen, it can't happen. And yeah, I wanna be able to split myself in half and be mum full time, and you know, be Ms Dynamite full time. I'm waiting for someone to create some kind of teleporting business. Listen, like I'm waiting for iPhone 5 and hoping that there's some,
you just split yourself
because it is challenging, but at the same time I'm a strong believer in like where there's a will, there's a way. I make it work. You know, my son, bless him, he's very independent and he's very passionate and mature for his age. So he knows, you know, how happy music makes me. And he now likes the music that I make. In fact, he came with me on the Rinse stage oh my gosh, what was it? The first time that he's ever, you know, like come to a festival with me this summer. Why is my brain? It was Victoria Park.
Yeah.
What?
I can't remember the name of the festival.
All right, I'm glad that you're forgetting as well, because that makes me feel better. Love Box, thank you. And he was on the stage, and I was thinking, you know, he's gonna kick back and just like stand as like. When I turned around, he was here on the like, yeah, that's my mom. Like, yeah, like he was going in. So he understands, and he's supportive. It's good.
A Little Deeper album, you know, that came out, made a big impact in the UK. Then the second album came out as well, Judgement Days. It kind of felt like a lot of people felt you maybe got a bit deep too quickly in your career. Would you look back at that in retrospect and think maybe I made some wrong choices there, or would you have done it the same way again?
Definitely. 100%. I'm a believer that everything just is how it's supposed to be. And if I go back and change even the tiniest thing about my life, I'm not going to be sitting here in this chair talking to you in this headspace. You know, like I just think everything we go through makes us who we are. So I don't look at anything as a mistake. Even at the time, you know, when Judgement Days didn't do as well in terms of mainstream success and whatnot, as people would have liked, I wasn't mad. You know, that happened for me. That happened because I wasn't ready to come back to music. I was in the space I was in, and it taught me very quickly, I'm not ready. I just want to go home. I just want to be with my son, and that's it. So I locked off for another however many years until now. And if I hadn't have done that, and it hadn't have flopped, then I might have kept trying and you know, been banging my head against the wall when really I wanted to be at home. I wasn't inspired by music in the same way at that time. I was inspired by my son, you know? So that's where I needed to be, and I needed that to happen to kind of show me that. So yeah, I'm cool. I'm happy about it.
So you don't think you'll be taking a break like that again?
I might if I feel like it's necessary, but
when you have the second child.
For now, not for now. I'm very happy doing what I'm doing right now. You know, my son's of an age where he can understand and appreciate, and you know, I think it's good for both of us. I'm really enjoying it.
It's nice to see that you've moved with the times. You've gone from the garage thing. You've done like some slight R&B stuff. You've done some rap stuff. Some, you know what I mean? Like you've really moved through the eras nicely, and it's felt natural. So what are we expecting from the future from Ms Dynamite? What kind of where you going artistic wise?
I think it's exactly that. To be honest with you, I think I'm a bit of like a chameleon. You know, I feel blessed and privileged that I think I can adapt, you know, to music because of the simple fact that I grew up on so many different music forms, you know, whether it was roots and dub and revival, whether it was bashment, whether it was hip hop, whether it was rare groove, you know, like my family are just very from like old 60s, a bit of jazz, a bit of blues, very, very musical. And we never had no choice about what we was listening to. We grew up in a house where the parents play the music, that's it. Yeah, and watch what they want to watch on TV and listen to what they want to listen to on radio and whatnot. So it's kind of like we had no choice. For that factor, I think it's given me that ability to kind of step into not everything, but if I'm not feeling it, I'm just not going to do it, you know? So I think that's, you know, possibly why it sounds natural, because it feels natural to me, you know, and I feel blessed. I think going forward, it's going to be a mixture of just that, you know. Maybe there might be a little track here that sounds like it's got a kind of R&B, soulful type flavour to it. There might be something that's a bit more dub sounding, something that's a little bit more, I don't know, electronic. Like just, I think a whole, like, I don't like to box stuff up, and so just a bit of everything.
Who is the one person on the planet you'd like to meet and why?
To meet? Wow. To meet, who would I like to meet? Oh my goodness, oh my gosh. There's so many people, but for some reason they're all just skipping my brain right now. I'd say Lauryn Hill would be someone I'd like to meet.
And what's the conversation you'd have with her?
I'm not totally sure. I just feel like she's an artist that's always, you know, inspired me in a big way. And I know that in terms of her, you know, lyrics, you know, lyrically, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I've got a lot to learn from her. I feel like I could have a lot to learn from her. You know, she's a very intellectual young woman. And then in terms of music, like what she does musically, from her voice to her guitar playing to the, you know, I just think, I feel like I could have a conversation that I will get a lot from. And she inspires me, you know, like I just like to have a conversation.
When you made this song, Never Soft, was it because you was trying to prove that you're one of the hardest?
No, not at all. I think for me, Never Soft is about, there was a day when I thought I was the hardest. There was a day when I had that kind of like about me. And I think I've grown up, and you kind of realize that actually being the hardest is, for me, it's about just being able to be who you are, you know, and be comfortable within who you are. Because when you feel the need to be like, yeah, I'm this and I'm that, you're not really comfortable with who you are. Otherwise, you just chill, innit? You just like be cool. So for me, Never Soft is about being never soft is, you know, being strong. But being strong, the ultimate strength is just being cool with who you are.
And so, you're definitely softer than people might think, because when you get on the mic and you get on the stage, it is definitely the bad gal, and this whole different persona comes out. But you know, you seem like, you know, to people that have sat down and spoke to Ms Dynamite, you can see that there is a nice girl there. I'm not saying he expected you to be horrible, but maybe a bit more sharp,
a bit more coarse.
Yeah,
I leave that for stage and for the you know, I just this is me being comfortable with who I am. I don't feel the need to be like that all the time. Like that's just a stage persona, like stuck in the energy. So
SK Vibemaker.